What's up, everyone? It's the Blazer King with King's Critiques. And hold that thought just a minute. Jesus Christ. I'm here for my review for Citrus, and at the time of writing my script, as it were, it's still Pride Month, hence my choice. And I'm actually gonna get this uploaded still during the month of June. Accounting nothing interrupts me while I'm reading all this. That, and I just really love anything to do with Yuri, as people may know. And, you know, people might throw dislikes on some of the content I make, where I make a bunch of Yuri statements, but I mean, come on. Like, even, everyone's allowed to love what they love, right? And that's what I love. I don't mind the other stuff, but I love this stuff. Anyway, back to the written review. It hitched a lie before I finished this, which luckily it didn't. Well, it's my birthday month, so it still fits the category appropriately. Because, I mean, when I do things like this, I like to review things by an appropriate type of category. And, well, in July, it'd be pretty much either, American-made anime, which there are very few that are actually any good, or stuff I just really like, and, well, I loved this. With all that out of the way, I'm going to start watching after the usual. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe request, and, well, there it is. And if you didn't quite catch that the general way I put that, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you appreciate all the work I put into for reviews like this, even if the other ones seem kinda lazy. This is a story of two girls primarily, Yuzu and Mei, who go to an all-girls school, and that already set up some interesting possibilities. But a couple of key things seem to happen with Mei based on the description of episode 1. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First thing, seems Yuzu has an issue at her new school, violating pretty simple rules due to her Gyaru-like appearance. Not sure if that's the pronunciation, but that's what I'm going with. Somebody can correct me in the comment section down below, but that's how I've heard it in dubbed animation. Anyway, point of that is, don't look like a hoe if you're going to a prestigious school, I guess. Then, she gets her first introduction to Mei, who basically gropes her to confiscate her phone and leaves Yuzu weak in the knees. For good reason. Small note on that, one of the higher-ups in the school has one of the weirdest looking hairstyles I've seen in anime. You know who I'm talking about. Bitch has a hat for hair. Or hair for hat. But we only see her, like, two or three times. Once in the beginning and once at the end. Then, after that scene, Yuzu happens across Mei and her new hot teacher making out, which is the first and possibly only straight kiss to be seen in this show. That's an assumption since I see more gay stuff than anything when it comes to screenshots of this show or the manga. But to add on to this description stuff that was mentioned earlier, we have Mei coming by Yuzu's home after her mother mentioned they were sisters now. That in of itself will bring about some pretty fun situations. Again, on another note, Mei said she hasn't seen her father in 5 years, so how the hell did he have time to get married to somebody? Mei ignoring Yuzu seemed to have pissed her off, so she brought up Mei kissing the teacher instead of a reply. As I'm writing this, Mei began to kiss Yuzu to shut her up, or at least that's the first thought to why, but as I keep writing, I can't exactly look away to gauge a proper response from the blonde in question. Can you blame me? Meanwhile, Mei is as cool as can be from it, moves on to take her bath, leaving Yuzu breathless, maybe a little bothered because of taking her first that kiss before credits roll. Already off to a fun start to things. Sorry, I need a sip of my drink. For the record, as episode 2 starts... Why am I tripping over my tongue? Anime where the Yuri pair actively kissing do end up to be some of the ones I enjoy most, more than the emotional gayness. Because, I mean, what's more fun? Just seeing them flirt around and fuck with the possibility of it being gay, or seeing it actually getting there? That's why Sakura Trick is one of my favorites. That show is nothing but making out for 10 episodes. Speaking of gay thoughts, Mei and Yuzu end up wet in the not fun way and take a bath together. And Yuzu, of course, starts having gay thoughts about Mei before the latter just outright starts getting into it with her. After a small complaint about it, it pushes over to the next day when Yuzu realizes that a lot of girls in the school actually have some sort of friendship going on, so she automatically thinks Mei is thinking like that. I'm also take a quick side note to realize I rate the word gay more than I rate the word lesbian in this whole review. So I do highly apologize for that, but I mean, gay is gay, whether it's between male and male or girl and girl. Although, that's only half true. Also, she tried to announce to the chairman of her new school that she's his new granddaughter, and he has no earthly idea what she's talking about. So, general bickering starts with him telling Yuzu to leave the school grounds, even if she is officially entered, but that'll probably get cleared up eventually. Yuzu has the day off of school, though. So, while out, Yuzu and her new friend find out the male teacher who kissed her in the last episode, well, kissed Mei in the last episode, is a total scumbag. Gee, go figure. Older male making out with a younger girl is a scumbag because he's just in it for the money. Who would have thought? Speaking of, Yuzu decided it was a good idea to blow him in at the assembly the next day about kissing a student. Not the actual thing that makes him scum, which is honestly kind of hilarious. Though she came home and Mei had been taken back by her grandfather. For what reason, we don't know yet. Though at least the hot teacher, who's an asshole, seems to be gone from the school, which is the best result of what she did. Though now there's conflict between Mei and Yuzu, but just how real is this issue that's had... Wait. Okay, my typing got a little away from me there, but whatever. Or is Mei just hiding her own feelings about things? As cool, calm, and collected as she seems, it could go either way, to be completely fair. While Mei is acting... While Mei was acting like she was going to be a super gay a day or two later... She was crying about above Yuzu's form, and after a small conversation getting interrupted by Mei's grandfather, discovering their gay antics, that wasn't actually continuing in the way as he hence expelled Yuzu. Wait. What? Yeah, okay. My phrasing got off. Anyway, he thought they were gonna fuck. They weren't fucking. But Yuzu got expelled anyway. But it'll work out in the end. It's one of the best-selling Yuri manga of all time, after all. But I do try to avoid spoilers as much as possible with things like this. It's hard not to review episode by episode and share my thoughts as they're happening. Even with the minor drama in the first couple episodes, I've been all smiles for this show, loving every minute of it. But episode 3 is incoming. Top of the episode is pretty simple, but one important detail was Yuzu seemed to clip her index finger, if you catch the meaning. Though, when Yuzu was going to confront the headmaster about the school thing, she found him in a really bad position, having a heart attack or something, I'm assuming, and he got brought to the hospital thanks to her. My assumption is Yuzu has her passed back into school, which she did, but not just for that reason, after all, as cliche as that might have been. And we'll hang out at a manga internet cafe type deal. Yuzu is reading a girls love manga, which has to do with girls that are stepsisters, so that's a little on the nose, and it had her realize something. However, she comes home to see her mother bought them a double bed. Doesn't go great, right? Well, for the first night anyway, it doesn't go quite how we think at first. But Yuzu talking about the topic has Mei go to tease her, just a touch about it. But I mean, may as well be some type of dare, which we find out later that is soon. She does want Yuzu in that way, but won't admit it. Not quite as soon for what we saw back then, but close enough. Or maybe she is, and Mei discovers it. The main problem? Wait, no, I just skipped a whole sentence, I write. Oops. Anywho, let me retry that sentence. Not quite as soon, but close enough to one. Or maybe she is a tsundere. What do you guys think? Though, later on at school, Yuzu leaves her stuff behind and Mei discovers it. The main problem? It included the girls' love manga, and Mei saw it. So what kinds of thoughts will that give her to back up the truth of things? Well, while Mei confronted her about it, Yuzu actually took the initiative this time, and went to be the one to kiss Mei after being called out. Though it didn't last as long as the first time, it had quite the impact on both of them emotionally. Episode 4 opens with Yuzu reflecting on her actions of the last episode and realizing just how much of a lesbian she is, asking if she can stay with her new friend for the night due to her gay paranoia. I mean, the show did open with her talking about possibly finding a cute boyfriend and, talking with her friends that she had one, and well... Anyway, the vice president of the student council was gonna try and discuss what happened the previous day with her, but Yuzu quickly shut that down. So they met up over the weekend, and it ends up getting Yuzu into even further questioning just because she used Mei's first name. Seems Himiko, the vice president and Mei's best friend, also has some kind of feelings for her. Though are they to the extent that Yuzu's are? Apparently, since she ended up lying about Mei's condition to Yuzu, but just how to heart is it taken, or does she call bullshit? A lot of this really should be called on bullshit. Regardless, though, Mei calls Yuzu by name for the first time, and it made her exceedingly happy. Plus, Himiko got told the truth about the situation, kind of, and was utterly shocked. Second best reaction of the show so far, frankly. Though, once back home and in bed together, Yuzu had to deal with the biggest tease after asking for a kiss. She got one before Mei went to sleep, and that left her thinking about it most of the night. Apparently, since she was asleep late the next morning, then begins the games of making Himiko incredibly jealous long term, since the two sisters are closer than what makes her happy. Though she doesn't quite know the reason why yet. It seems I was right, and Himiko is totally into Mei, also in the way Yuzu is, but she's more aggressive in her approach, especially fueled by jealousy. But that scene faded to black, so we don't know exactly what went down until later. But she was late to get home, so one can only imagine what happened. It went good, was it bad, was it what? Teasing aside, we might find out, we might not. According to Himiko, she mentioned to Yuzu her and Mei are a thing now, but is that just her projecting because Yuzu isn't as assertive on things? So now Yuzu knows she's jealous, but what's the truth, since even we don't know as the audience yet? And again, I'm going to point out, holy hell, I really need to expand on my grammar, because I do use a lot of words repeatedly. Anyway, episode 5 is about more Yuzu and Himiko competing for Mei's affections, to which to say, doesn't go well as they wanted it to, since they both get told to fuck off pretty much. But when Yuzu's new friend offers to go to the amusement park together and invite Mei as well as both of them, kinda jump at the thought, though they didn't really like the idea of being together with the 4 of them. But details. The next day, Yuzu takes Mei to meet the father on her side to get a jab in at Himiko since they're spending time together. However, said outing Yuzu is considering as a date for some reason or the other. But who's to argue? 2 people out alone together, the people can take it however they want. Though on a cramped bus, she opted to start teasing Mei since she found out about her weak point. Her ears. Isn't the ear kind of a weak point for a lot of people, to be completely fair? Albeit she was told to calm down mostly because of it being a public place, probably. But by what Mei tells Yuzu, I was right. Himiko was literally fucking with Yuzu when she said what she did the other day. Himiko, being crazy as she is, hunted down Yuzu and Mei hanging out. and Mei, once more, scolded her for supposedly lying to Yuzu. Did something happen, or didn't it? That's a question to be answered later. For now, it seems Yuzu and Mei ended up to see the former's father, but as one might have assumed, he had already passed on, so they're simply visiting a gravesite. Yuzu paid the given respects, but Mei also gave her own, which kind of surprised Yuzu, but she is a part of the family now, so I suppose it makes sense. And then asked a genuine question to her new sister lover that helped her ease her soul just a little bit. Though the next day, Mei seemed like she wasn't feeling well to where she collapsed on the stairwell. As to why she wasn't feeling well, I'm sure we'll hear. Later on, we tend to find out it was because she was overworked. I mean, what is she, 30? Well, eventually it seemed like all was well between Mei and her two potential lovers, so I guess all's well that ends well, right? Especially as it seems Mei's father has arrived at home with the girls. Episode 6, however, opens up with Mei totally rejecting her father and Yuzu explaining too much, which comes down to their father shutting down the idea of going back in charge of the academy. Which I get, but I mean, he's kind of a dick for leaving his daughter in charge of taking over one day. Mei, concerned with who she should turn to in times of crisis, once she realized, sorry, I had a little burp. Once she realized she can't count on her father anymore, was going to be comforted by Yuzu, but that went from considering comforting to in one way to the fun way to Mei getting bitch smacked. In this exchange, we see exactly how much of a sub Yuzu is. Even if Mei takes it a bit far, we know they'll bang eventually. Even if we don't see it, I mean, come on, we know. In the meantime, Mei gets upset between the incident with her father and Yuzu turning her down, but she was kinda too upfront. On another note, Harumin is the best kind of friend to have. She sensed something was wrong with Yuzu and was immediately ready to bring her off to be of help to whatever she had going on. Yeah, I wish I had friends like that, honestly. Then we go to Yuzu being an asshole and announcing Mei's problem to the whole school. She was just trying to be helpful. After all is said and done with as far as the family drama goes, they share their first moment together later that night in a more intimate manner than the last few times. Then we pan on some pink-haired girl who knows Yuzu, apparently. Another Jiro of sorts, since she used to have black hair? What kind of level of Yuri will we see here? And now, small break from the script again to say, this is the part in the series where it actually bothered me for a couple episodes, so excuse any phrasing or anything. Going into episode 7, it opens with Yuzu having a wet dream about her sister. Nice. That statement was a bit cringy, but hey, HLA is a thing everyone approves of. Well, mostly everyone, but though, with the answers Mei verbally gives, it shuts Yuzu down completely, even if she has the same kind of mindset as if we were in the 50s when it comes to Yuri relationships, and like, we're both girls, we shouldn't be seen in public, blah, 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 blah. But the show only came out a few years ago, the manga a couple before that, and people overly embrace that stuff now, so whatever. Later, Yuzu runs into the old friend that was mentioned before, who seems is a middle schooler doing not so middle school style stuff. Compensated dating. Kind of. What a lewd little girl. Weirdly, the thing that throws me off the most about this episode is them continuing to mention girls kissing isn't normal. Like, I get it's copium for somebody, but come on. People have been gay as hell in the public eye for at least a decade. Matsuri, the pink-haired girl that has been mentioned, eventually gets left alone with Yuzu and pressures her about admitting things involving Mei and comes close to hitting on her, even kissing her until they get interrupted by Mei randomly calling her. But the reaction she gave should tell her childhood friend all she needs to know, as little as that helps. But we all know that won't deter her. On topic, she drags Yuzu into the sight of an oncoming Mei, and steals that kiss she was going to earlier so May saw. What a little bitch. Might have May realize she feels the same way that Yuzu does. Then later at school, Matsuri hunts Yuzu down to fuck with her in front of the entire school, only to be confronted by May. Which way will this conversation goes? Apparently it won't. Yuzu shuts that down in public, though she was still confronted, and May totally gives Matsuri the look as if they were rivals, which they kinda are, to be fair, the childhood best friend and the new little sister lover, though Matsuri is quite the cunt in the end of it all. Oh. Sorry, took a small break. Breathe, drink. Episode 8. Oh, hold on. Gotta turn the music back on. Episode 8 basically opened with Matsuri's desires being told to fuck off, as May was invited along her and Yuzu's date. Though, I wonder more if May's just there to block Matsuri from trying something with Yuzu. Though it still doesn't stop Matsuri from being extra about her gayness in public, even with other people looking directly at them. Then, Matsuri ran off after arguing, and two boys actually younger than her try to see up her skirt, but get called out for and get brought into a plan Matsuri concocted. Though that plan backfired on her since she went to have a conversation with May, and it ended up with May's tongue down her throat to take back the kiss she stole from Yuzu previously. That's a huge win for May, in my opinion. But the plan seemed to have been getting a picture of May hitting her. But, Jesus, sorry. My body doesn't do things right sometimes. But instead, it was a little more intense than that. And instead, she got hit on, to put it lightly. Will this plan work for Matsuri? With May being how she is, the biggest threat might be if she shows the picture she took to her grandfather. But at this point, would that matter much? Probably, because he does seem old-fashioned, but he always loves his grandchild. Though, thinking about it, maybe long-term Himiko and Matsuri should meet so the crush of the sisters can be together instead. Just saying. But, at the close of the episode, when May is about to be the last one leaving school after handling student council stuff, Matsuri is there, waiting. She going to announce her plan or openly withdraw, seeing she's no match for Yuzu's affections? Based on the preview, the answer is definitely not the first thing, which this brings into the part of the show that actually does bother me, to be completely fair. So, as Open 9 opens up with Matsuri being overly aggressive towards May, though she's kind of projecting, continuing to call May slutty because they kissed. Pretty sure May's only kissed two others before. The teacher in the first episode, that was a bit slutty, but it was because of the arranged marriage thing apparently. The other being Yuzu, a few times before Matsuri, and that's been for a multitude of reasons. Now she's being blackmailed by that young little cunt. This is why kids need to be punted sometimes. That's not just an anime-specific statement. Like, shit like this can happen in reality. I listen to things that explain teenagers can be real assholes sometimes, so really, if you have a kid and you think they might be a little demented inside, just give them a little punch right across a football field. It's fine. No, but like, seriously, these kind of situations being thrown into shows highly bothers me, as some might have been able to tell from the episode of Otome a few weeks back. This seriously has started and has promised to end better than Scum's Wish, for example. But Lord, if these past couple episodes don't have that kind of stomach-churning vibes compared to the sweet, if not conflicted, relationship these sisters have going on. And, of course, Matsuri turns her dark side on in front of Yuzu, which, as I'm typing this, may or may not backfire, which, of course it did. Yuzu wants to go find and apologize to May, even after Matsuri went bitch mode. So instead, Yuzu yelled at her and ran off to hunt for May, who seemed to have came back to where she met the guy from before. Did they actually do something, or did she detach before going along with it? And based on the conversation they had on the way home, they being May and Matsuri, apparently the three went home together anyway, she didn't go along with it, and Matsuri seemed to have bettered herself, kind of. Though while departing from them, she made a crack about having a threesome, which, low-key, would be kinda hot when they're adults. Just saying. But as soon as they got home, May had Yuzu's cake and ate her too. Well, not literally, but also it kinda was. But that also made things a little awkward. I will say I am a little out of breath reading this, but that's what happens with a rush job, right? Since I finished the series like 20 minutes ago and now I'm here. Let me get another sip before I continue. Last 3 episodes. As episode 10 seems to have it all come out in the open by the preview at the end of 9, so this one should be a good one. Last episode ended with May being super gay, but Yuzu pussed out. Probably because she's concerned it's not truly what May wants to do, when in fact it is. Also, apparently we took a month-long time skip, because we went from Christmas to almost the end of January. I will say, Matsuri got at least got better about how much of a bitch she is, even if she's still a teasing little one. About May and Yuzu's relationship, anyway. For whatever that's worth. Then, we get introduced to the white-haired girls from the intro, finally. And it seems one of them is also in love with Yuzu. Well, I actually took that context based on stuff that was spoken of. Because I was slightly wrong on that one. But it seems like it is 2 more actual blood-related sisters this time. Who are apparently the same age. But I call bullshit on that because it has usual anime logic of, well, the fact the one sister who talked to Yuzu on a train because she was late getting back with her group is like Himikaze from Kankole. And the bigger sister, Nina, the bigger sister is like, they eventually say they're the same age and they're twins, but still calling bullshit for the fact. Later on, Yuzu feels comfortable enough with this new friend of hers to admit how she feels about May, and has a straight-up breakdown in front of them while confessing all this. Which, having finished the show by this point, I will say that affects Sarah's decision later about things, but we'll get to that then. Because she's also in love with May, apparently. So I was half right earlier, I just had the wrong sister. Then, Sarah's sister happens upon the intimate discussion Yuzu and May are having, where Yuzu admits her feelings only be shot down by May, who I believe... What an asshole. Who I believe is still pouting about things. Certainly hurts the soul to see these girls being like this, but that's how it is sometimes. And to be fair, Yuzu buried the lead. But remember how Nina saw Yuzu's confession? Well, now there's a plot to help her sister out, and how will that work? At the shrine, Yuzu reflects on what happened the previous night. We all know she buried the lead during her confession. Don't say you love someone like family, and then move into talking about her like a lover. That's inappropriate. Do it the other way. Say you love them in the same way one would like a lover, but you also care for them as much as family. Like, at least that's a proper order to things. Well, if you're doing a confession like this. I'm going off script. Though, Sarah does get her chance to admit her feelings, and it goes not how exactly I was expecting it to go. She actually gives the girl a chance to say her piece, and apparently accepting their feelings. Though, was that a lie to make Yuzu work harder? Nina found out and seems to have rubbed it in regarding her sister and May being a thing, even if Yuzu doesn't quite have an idea. Though, I think as I'm typing this, she got baited into seeing them in the act together, which I wasn't 100% right, but I was kinda right. because Yuzu ran into Mei getting out of the bath where Sarah also was, so that means something went on. But the situation was looked over by Sarah originally, who pushed Yuzu into confessing to the woman she loves, even if they're with another person, who she found out like 5 minutes later was her. And after exiting the bath, well, it seems, yeah, like I just said, Sarah realized her mistake, but she's actually a decent person, unlike Matsuri. Well, how Matsuri started. After going to have a talk with Mei, she goes into hiding, or going into hiding goes from one thing to another, only to be shut down. Because, well, Yuzu wasn't supposed to be in Mei's room late at night, and she was, and, well, stuff was going to happen, but it didn't. What are with all the loud vehicles going by while I'm trying to do this? I know my mic might not pick it up, but Jesus Christ. Anyway. For now, while looking for Mei, Nina confronts Yuzu and tells her the obvious, but it seems Sarah is reconsidering her and Mei's relationship, even though it pains her, albeit it seems a test for herself occurs at the end of the episode asking if they can kiss, probably to see if Mei is truly feeling it with her or doing what I said earlier, and covering how she feels about Yuzu. And now, we have the final episode thoughts, and the ending thoughts, of course. Because it opens with Mei accepting Sarah's request to kiss, for what we saw before it went back to Nina and Yuzu's conversation they were having, about Nina telling Yuzu that Mei and Sarah are together. But Yuzu basically tells Nina that she needs to do what she needs to do and admit how she feels to Mei properly. So, eventually, Yuzu gets a phone call. Sarah tells Yuzu to come and talk and pushes her once again to admit her feelings for Mei, hopefully without burying the lead this time. And after time to reflect about things while running to meet up with Mei, we see everyone's thoughts and opinion. Sorry, I'm just remembering that scene and, well, yeah. Everyone's thoughts and opinions about Yuzu and her situation, but everyone actually seems to be pulling for her, whether they physically see her or not. As we all should with struggling lesbians' feelings, or anyone who's struggling with their feelings when they're, gay or whatever. Take the shot if you feel there is some proof to it. Don't hit on a straight person, because as few of us that there seems to be, that'd be a little more awkward, but I mean, if in this case they have already made out with you several times over, what's the worst that'll happen? Anyway, Mei, running away from her own gay thoughts, is being chased down by Yuzu while she's announcing everything aloud about what they've done where anybody can hear, and then leaps over a staircase to end up tackling Mei and properly confess to her. Luckily, things went over well. But first, Mei and Sarah need closure, so Nina ended up kidnapping Yuzu. And, well, despite that pink-haired bitch and Mei being a total tsundere, all seems to have ended well since she dropped the possibility of her and Yuzu actually dating, and... Though, of course, as I'm writing this, I'm tearing up, since the show at least had a happy end, and the two seemed to actually be together as more than family, and... before my final thoughts, I just want to point out, it is a fun thought for Yuzu, Mei, Himiko, Matsuri, and Sarah to get together one day and, if something happens, it happens. But that's also because, that's the best way to bring closure to somebody's feelings, is, if they're not with somebody and, we were planning on being adventurous, why not, right? That last sentence, though, about group sex was just fucking around. Though I imagine there's probably some sort of content out there that involves that thought. But now we'll go into my final thoughts, non-scripted, about the show and everything. that honestly, like, I'll probably openly say the dumbest statement in the world that the reason I feel so much for shows like this and stuff like this is probably because emotionally I feel kind of more related to these kind of characters than anything you might see in an actual, straight relationship in an anime. Usually. There are a couple of exceptions where I'll relate to the male character over the female. Take Shikimori, because I am a lot like Azumi. But, like, the dumb statement would be that I kind of feel like if I were a woman, I'd still totally be into girls. And, well, in a few ways, it'd be a better thought. I'm also not one of those people that's gonna come and make a drastic choice. But yeah, lesbian internally, even if can't externally put it out there. As silly of a statement as that might be. But that's why I love all this Yuri stuff, because it doesn't just come from a place of general lust like a lot of guys think about when it comes to lesbians. Although I do love it for that reason too, it does also come from a place where relationships between two women and even men in media are way more wholesome than that of a straight relationship. Like, compare 5 different romantic or rom-com or anything to do with an actual relationship between straight couples and gay couples. Doesn't have to be just lesbians, could be just gay, and tell me how many end with a happy ending, just straight up. Because, like, usually for the straight kind of romantic stuff, they either don't end up as a couple at all unless they started like that, or it just kind of gets teased for the most part. But yeah, I love stuff like this. I will continue to love stuff like this. Every time I see a new anime with some kind of Yuri potential to it, I will continue to watch it, love it, embrace it, support the characters, even if I know how it will probably end due to this or that reason. Like, for this, I didn't actually know that they did end up together for the most part, because I didn't read the manga. I still kind of would look into the manga one day, but I've never read it myself. I don't know if this just gave us our happy ending early, or if the manga actually ended and gave a happy ending as well. Everyone can let me know about that in the comment section down below if they've read the manga. And, I ranted about a couple extra topics than might have been necessary, but I'm being completely honest. Like, I do love the Yuri stuff for the sweet, wholesome feelings. I mean, seriously, you can take a look at literally everything that involves girls as the main cast, and I refer to that kind of thing. But to put a rest on my voice and to be able to end things off and, let you guys comment down below about this, that, the other thing, your opinions on things I might have said, your opinions on the characters, the shipping, the relationship at the end between Yuzu and Mei, which, congratulations to them. Let me know about all that stuff in the comment section. As well as, of course, any other shows related to this, or new ones, or anything else that I should watch in the comment section down below. Please, I hope you hit the like button, subscribe to my main channel if you're into gaming stuff. Like or ring both bells, like Facebook, follow Twitter to keep updated with everything, whether it be live reactions or reactions like this. Subscribe to follow me on TikTok, because I upload batches once in a while over there. I already said like, probably. Follow me on Twitch, subscribe there for benefits, can do so Twitch Prime for free. I've been streaming more recently than I've the past several months, so hopefully that keeps up, and you can catch me gaming. Or maybe just hang out sometime and do, like, anime-related stuff. Like, tier lists or something. And one final piece before my usual bit of outro. Since it is June 30th, and this was originally thought of to upload because of Pride Month, I will say once more, regardless on the amount that I get it or don't get it, approve or don't approve of certain things, you know, like some things more than other things, I will say, be who you want to be. Doesn't matter what you actually are, doesn't matter who you actually are, just be what you want to be. And I do thoroughly support LGBT and all that stuff. I just, yeah, the only statement to finish that off on is don't push it down other people's throats. That's what makes people dislike it. That said, from here until next year and any other time, because specific months to appreciate stuff is just dumb in my opinion. But regardless, happy Pride Month. And it's been the Blaze Gang with King's Critique. Sign out. Ta-ta for now. Peace.